Today I want to talk about some of the pros and cons of being self-employed. Now, I've been self-employed in two ways. When I was a bricklayer, I worked for either a brick baron who basically sources work. Well, a bricklayer works usually in a gang, so there was like a few of us over here, and someone was the gang leader, and then they invoiced the brick baron invoiced the developer, that sort of thing. You could work direct with the developer as well, but I never did that. But so you were still self-employed, but you were a subcontractor, so basically your tax got taken out of your wages and stuff. Now, over this last year, still self-employed, still a sole trader, but now I've just been earning via my own business now. So now I only answer to myself, which has its ups and downs, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. You control everything that you do, everything that goes on within your business. So you might not have to fire anyone or anything yet because you haven't got a team, just like I haven't, and I probably won't have for a while. You know, touch wood, provided everything goes well, and eventually I start bringing in people or outsourcing editing work to other people, so it frees me up, stuff like that. But you know, I'm not there yet. But my point is, I don't have anyone to fire. I don't have anyone to, have hard conversations with. I don't have anyone to rely on at the same time. So not only do I have to turn up to the shoots and film it, I don't come back and then hand that off to someone else to edit. I have to edit it myself, and then in order to get my next shoot, I'm not relying on someone else to send out a load of emails, meet people in person. Do you know what I mean? Like, there is no one there. That is, an issue itself. But then on the flip side of it, I'm not paying anyone else. So anything that's earned is directly to me. I spend a lot of my working time at my desk, if I'm honest. I'd probably say it's like 70% at my desk, 30% out on location somewhere at a business, whoever that is. The countless hours that I do spend at my desk as well, sending out emails or editing. I enjoy editing. It's, I'm getting better and finding better ways to do stuff and all that, and it's making it a lot more easier and all that kind of thing. But emails, you almost feel like you shouldn't even fucking bother trying. You send out 100 emails and you're lucky to get a reply off 2 of them. Having said that though, the freedom that it does bring, like, not having to rely on anyone or anything or answer to anyone is good. It does have its, pros, because obviously I've got a child, and then if anything comes up, then I'm able to tend to that. I can work around his mum's work schedule and stuff like that. But ultimately, the wins are on you, but so are the losses. When anyone talks about self-employment or owning your own business or anything like that, the first thing that gets said is, oh yeah, you can just make your own hours up and just do whatever you want. I'm sure at some point, when you're an established business and you've got a lot of other people working for you, then maybe that is the case. Maybe you can just drop in and out because you've done all the legwork and all that. But, at the very early stages, like where I'm at now, like, I just don't switch off. Like, I try to, more so the last sort of month, I've tried to kind of give myself a bit more time on the weekends maybe, but it is hard. You do have to kind of schedule your own sort of working hours, really. Like for me, I generally do work between 9 and 3, because if I've got Freddie, I have to pick him up from school at 3. If I've got a lot on, it all depends on the situation at the time and how much work I've got on. But I'll have to put him to bed, and then after I've put him to bed, I'll carry on for maybe another couple of hours. That's just what I've done the last sort of 6 months, maybe. That's how I've been blocking it out on my calendar and stuff. Having a calendar as well I use the Google Calendar, and it's mad, to be fair. It's really good, and I've got the Google Business thing. So I get Gemini with that as well, so I can it helps me. My email's obviously tied to it, so anything that comes through in the email, it can go straight to my calendar, and then I can put into Gemini and get it to do stuff like this, that, and the other, all that sort of shit. So yeah, you've got all this time, but it's just how you use that time, essentially. Again, because remember what I said, you've got no one to rely on, you've got no one breathing down your neck, so you've kind of got to force yourself to like be that person as well, kind of thing. You've got all the time in the world, but you've got no time. Do you know what I mean? Like, 'cause in the day, each month, the same bills are going to come up, and you need to have figured out how you've earned the money to pay them. And of course, there's always a flip side to this, and that flip side is if you get ill, or, something happens. Like, touch wood, I don't really get that ill that often. I don't know why. I just generally don't. I was ill, I think, January time at some point, and I don't know what it was, but I was feeling like shit for a few days, and I couldn't get anything done because even though if I tried, like, you're not thinking straight, you make stupid decisions, and you're not seeing things clearly. So sometimes again, this is something you've got to decide yourself. You need to take a step back and be like, all right, maybe I should get better first, and then I'll come back stronger. And as long as you're honest with your clients as well, like say if you've got a deadline or something, and you just, just be honest with them. I've not been, all the people I've worked with so far, and if I've run into any issues or for whatever reason, it's never been a problem as long as you're transparent and open with them. This ties in a little bit with the last one, not switching off. It doesn't matter how much time I block out or how much time I schedule myself. When something that you've built is dependent on you, you literally, I can't. You just can't switch off. Like, it doesn't matter what I've got on at the time. I'm sure I'm not alone in this, but, I'm a very new business, and I think that's natural. I think that's normal for any sort of business owner, something that you've created yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're constantly going to think about it in the shower, when you're in bed, any given point. One thing I found that's a good idea is just to write it down. Like, say if you're out and about and you think of something, just write it down in your phone and your notes, because 9 times out of 10, later on you'll be like, oh shit, what was that thing I thought about earlier? So I always write it down. Probably the thing that I found the hardest. Now, I know not everyone's the same and not every situation is the same. I've had to chase money before for months and months from people, and when you're not backed by any form of investor or had any sort of business loans or anything like that, and you've kind of just bootstrapped it with the job centre, like it's difficult, of course it is, but sometimes some months I've had to sort of fight to survive, and it's caused issues basically. I should have had more money going into this to set up a business and stuff like that. Like, I just kind of started it a bit of a weird way. I've been screwed over a couple of times and it's not nice. I've been lied to and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, it's just lessons. That was very early on and it was my own fault. Obviously not, they're scumbags for not paying, but it was my own fault for not having the right things in place. But because of these couple of shakedowns, I've made alterations to the way that I work with people and all that kind of thing, and onboarding, processing a bit better, contracts, terms and conditions, deposits, and all that sort of shit. Like 9 times out of 10, I'll ask for a deposit. It's usually half before before the shoot. I think it just instills trust on both parties, because like, I can turn up somewhere, film something for 4 hours, create 2 promo reels for them for whatever it is, and then give them the footage and everything. But if they don't pay that 50%, I've turned up, done the work, edited it, and then I'm just trusting them in good faith that they're gonna, you know what I mean? So the way that I've structured things now is it's fair on both sides. Like 50% up front, and then the other 50% after everything's signed off and everyone's happy. Having my own business is great and I love it. I really do. But it is terrifying. Completely terrifying. The points I've made in this video are some of the, important things, pros and cons. I'm sure a lot of people will agree with me on these. Now, I'm not in it to make fucking stacks, you know what I mean? I just love what I do currently, even though it can be a struggle sometimes, but ultimately I just want to pay my bills and just bring up my kid the same way that I was brought up. I didn't have everything, but I had enough, and there was always a roof over my head and food in the cupboards and all that sort of shit. That's always been going to be the main goal, and creating something as well that he can sort of look up to, like when he's a bit older. I mean, he's 6 in June, but he's got a good understanding of what I do. I always looked up to my dad. Like, my dad was a fireman, but like, I always wanted to be a fireman. I'm not saying that I want Freddie to do what I'm doing or anything like that. Like, he does what he wants, but like, I don't know, I was just always proud of my dad, and I know for a fact Freddie will be proud of me. I know he will. I work pretty hard, and although this is completely different to me from anything else I've done in my life, I'm getting by, but like, yeah, I just want him to be proud, and I think he will be. I'm pretty certain he will. I get a lot of moments of doubt, of course, like anyone. Just this past week, like, a couple of invoices were, not coming in, and in the day I've still got other things to pay for, and I've got other jobs on at the minute, and it just gets a bit much sometimes. It really does. And I think sometimes it just takes a little bit of, it could be anything, and it could just be going for a steam and a sauna with your mate, or like seeing your mum and family members and stuff. Like, that's the stuff that really matters. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna try and, I say this every fucking time, I'm gonna try and be a bit more active on here. So if you like this video, then drop me a subscribe. Is that what people say? Like, comment, subscribe. Yeah. I'm going to end it there. I'm just glad I've got this done. Yeah. No, that's it. See ya.